Okay, guys, hello and welcome back. This is Silence Pew Pew. So where we last left off was roughly about, I believe, the whole tavern scene. So actually, we are going to go ahead and... Oops, not that button. Cool. Oopsies. Go away. Cool. So basically, this is the inside of the tavern. So here would be the doors in. Here's a little stage. There's some tables here. There's more tables normally in the tavern. However, this is set up for that party that we were talking about. So anyways, after they finished that whole ordeal with the tomato plants, quote unquote, Ugra talk. The next night they came to go ahead and go to the tavern for the tavern party. Within that time, though, I'm not 100% sure exactly when, but it was between the tomato it was at the beginning of that day-ish. A new person arrived. His name is Corell. He is of noble descent from some noble family in Darmesh. This was another character that we ended up meeting. He is a paladin. Like I said, his background is noble, and nobody's really he is in, I believe, full plate, even though he is not proficient with plate, and he's taking that speed penalty as well. He completely hides himself and almost never fully exposes himself. He's very well educated. Again, he is a paladin. I don't think paladins are proficient in heavy, but they could be. I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm not too worried about it either. However, I do know that he is wearing that plate, I believe. Pretty sure it's plate. He's completely covered. He wears a helmet, everything of the such. So none of his skin is ever exposed. Anyway, so he arrives in town and kind of makes a little bit of friends with the party. The main reason he is there is actually because he is an advocator for Ugra. He's one of the people who helps Ugra gain some publicity, basically. So he, he doesn't necessarily promote like Ugra and people to come to his fights per se, but he knows what Ugra is trying to do. One of Ugra's main things that he is actually trying to do. He's actually trying to help, the community, because he wants equal rights for, all races. And since he's a half-orc, not many people would like him, but since he's such a good fighter and people love that and they love seeing him just crush the shit out of people, people love him for that, and Corell is trying to help persuade people into enjoying that more. So anyways, like I said, I'm sorry guys, I don't have all the specific details. We've kind of talked about this before. I'm just trying to make these pretty quick so we can get caught up, because we will be streaming DnD. Whether I do it live or not, that's a different story. I might do it live, but I think it might crash. Live requires a little bit more bandwidth and power and stuff like that, so we may end up doing it not live, but it'll be like on the 25th or the 26th of August. I don't have a specific time yet, but if I find on the next D&D video, I'll definitely have some more answers. Anyways, so they go to this party. They have to pay an entry fee to get in, and then from there, booze and food is completely free. So the booze is behind the counter here. There's still a bartender. He's dishing out the booze. There's a paid bard. So that's what this guy is. He is a bard, and he's just playing some jolly good old music, I did have before... Yep, here it is. So I had music playing. I don't know what music was playing. I don't know... Well, I mean, I guess the video gets copyrighted. Who cares? I don't make any money off these. So I just had turned on this to kind of give it a little bit of a cool thing. Obviously, a bard probably can't play all of these notes, but, just to give my players kind of a little bit of a vibe of, like, what the atmosphere might be like. I don't think it was necessarily that song exactly, but there was some other songs for sure, because I know there was one where they were like, wait a minute, how is he playing a flute, a what was it? I don't know. One of the and like a piano was in the background. There was like 3 or 4 different instruments. I don't remember what all of them were, but there was a bunch of instruments in there, and they're like, "Wait, how is he playing all these?" And it's like, it's just kind of, for a feel. So anyways, most of the townspeople show up to this event. It happens once a month. It's very popular. The townspeople love doing it. Because there's the free beer, there's free music, free food, great social gathering thing, and there's also some games up here to play. Each of these tables represented something specific, and here is actually, this is Ugra here. Was this Ugra? Is it? Yeah, I think, no, that's not Ugra. Yeah, I think that was the mini that I used for Ugra. That's not actually him, but I think it was. Either way, though, so there was one, yeah, either way, doesn't too much matter. Either way, the whole party, everybody from the party is having fun here. Like I said, Dio actually did sneak out into the forest to do some ritual with his god, because he needed to make amends after what happened before with his god, where they presented that knife to him, his god Mistra. And then Nashurta ripped the dagger and kind of pulled Dio out of his trance with his god, and his god was definitely not happy about that. It set all of their stuff ablaze, so Dio feels like he needs to go back into the woods to try to make amends up. So that's what he does instead of going to the party, even though he was really looking forward to it. Nashurta has a real good time. He actually meets another elf girl there, because he's a half-elf. He meets an elf girl there that she kind of likes him. He kind of likes her. He finds out that she's the farmer's daughter and that she needs to go home, so he offers to walk her home. Now, to get to the farm that she lives at, it's about 20-minute walk from the town here. So he takes her on that walk. Magus kind of hangs out in here, and so does Corel. They're both kind of just doing random things. Magus, I think, is actually going around trying to pickpocket people every now and then, and I don't remember exactly what Corel's doing. I think he was talking to Ugra most of the time. Either way, so that all happens, and Nashurta drops off the girl, and they talk about meeting up tomorrow morning to do some activities, hang out a little bit, just kind of, basically like boyfriend-girlfriend kind of style thing. And he begins to come back, and he's going to go back to the tavern and hang out for a little bit and then go crash. So he decides, as he's getting back into town, there's this man behind him. Then he hears, he's panting and he's running as fast as he can, it looks, and Nashurta turns around and is like, and the man is out of complete breath, and he's like, we need your help, we need your help, we need your help. And he's like, what's wrong? Tell me, calm down. And he's like, the kobolds are attacking the farm again. They're setting it ablaze, and he's freaking out. He's passing all this information on, and Nashurta's first instinct is no, okay, well, we got to get to the tavern. Everybody should be in the tavern. They're having their monthly gathering. We need to get there and tell them. And so he runs off into the tavern, and the panicked man starts yelling, help, 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 help. He can't really get out what he's trying to say, really. Nashurta is able to explain to the bar guests, the tavern guests, what's going on, and that they need everybody to come to the farm. Now, granted, Nashurta has not actually, he was just at this farm, actually. He was literally just at this exact one that they're going back to. He just dropped off, that girl, and he was on his way back to the tavern, and so he doesn't actually know if there are kobolds attacking. He's just been told that, so he's passing it on to everybody else. So I don't remember exactly how many people, but 5 or 6 townsfolk oh yeah, we need to go help, and they all grab their weapons. Most of them have daggers or short swords of some kind and go. Ugra, like I said, is in this building. However, when they go to ask Ugra to come, he's basically passed out drunk. He was playing a drinking game all night, and he's not comprehensible. Yalu, who was the monk, is not here. He's not much of a drinker, so he was not. He did not come to this party, and he had some other things to attend back at the monastery, so he went back there. So it was basically on to the party of those three with the townsfolk, because Dio's in the woods somewhere, Nashirta just got back to the tavern, Magus is in the tavern, and Corel. So those three set off with a bunch of other villagers back to the farm. And this is kind of the map that I took them to. Yes, this actually is, yes. This is the map that I had brought them to. It's fine. So I kind of brought them here, and like I said, there was... Okay, so looks like there was a bit more than I thought of the townsfolk that came. I didn't remember exactly. Oh, yes. Two of them are towns guards here. These two here are towns guards. I think this is the farmer here, the actual farmer Yalu. No, not Yanda. Farmer Yanda, my bad. And yeah. So basically, as you can kind of see, so this zone is hidden to other colors. See? And the green as well. So this is what they would see. The reason this here is green is because I had enlisted the help of a friend to actually play some of the bad guys with me. So obviously there was quite the amount of bad guys here. Did Yalu? Oh, I have Yalu here, but... Oh, yeah, so right here is Yalu's character sheet, and so is Ugra's character sheet. Neither of those guys were there, though, so it doesn't really too much matter. Basically, the group shows up. This is kind of what they're doing. I don't know why that's Yalu. Okay, maybe Yalu was there, so that was the mini I was using for Yalu. Honestly, I don't remember. I feel like I remember him not being there. Maybe he came back from the monastery real quick to get to it. Anyways, it's not too big of a deal. Either way, though, I had my friend running some of the kobolds, and then I was running some of the other kobolds. That's basically it. They basically set all of the fields on fire. They started to capture the people who lived at the farm or who were... nightly patrol, basically. They sent a bunch of kobolds here. And as you see them, they are quite well organized, and that is one thing that the group actually picked up. They were like, why are these kobolds so, staying in groups? They're, they're actually, because they have, a slinger, and then they've got 6 people in front of them. And they've got, shamans, and they've got escorts, and they've got people actually protecting back here and stuff like that. And they were like, why is this going on? So that was one thing that the group noticed. They took out these guys. Unfortunately, I think this was this is Nashirta's piece here. Unfortunately, Nashirta, in his coming round, moved here. These kobolds roughly moved up to here-ish. I think some of them moved here. Some of these other villagers moved here. And what ended up happening was Nashirta's character, or his player, got mixed up with some rules from other editions, specifically 3rd edition, and actually positioned himself in a worse spot than he thought it was. He thought he would get an opportunity attack if they entered his threatened area. That's not how 5th edition works, and because of that, he lost... Yeah, because he actually, eventually, I don't remember exactly where everybody moved, but he actually moved, right beside the slinger, and he thought he would get a free opportunity attack on the slinger if he made a ranged attack at him, which is not the case in melee, in 5th edition anyways. And he was actually slayed in this battle. I believe it was the shaman, because I specifically remember him getting acid orbed, or whatever, acid orb, into the face. I remember explaining that very well. We actually had one of my other friends drew a cartoon picture of it. If I find it, I will definitely show it. It was pretty funny. We all had a good laugh. Unfortunately, like I said, he lost his character, and there was Nothing they could do to get to him in time. I don't know if the kobolds... I don't think the kobolds finished him off, but I know he failed his death saving throws. I think he saved one and failed the other 3. It was just unfortunate, and the rest of the party could not get to him in time. And that's pretty much what happened with him. So I actually did have Dio, Tree Speak's character, well, Dio, yeah, just Dio in general, come in from the back here, and he actually cast like some kind of mist or something like that here. He had some kind of mist spell. I don't remember exactly what it is or what it does, but it basically casts like a 20-foot by 20-foot mist cube around this area, and he came in and kind of killed off some of these people and set some of the people down here free. While Yalu, Magus, and the rest of the townsfolk came in. A couple of townsfolk were lost in the battle. Yalu pretty much did most of the work, as Yalu was a monk of, as you can see, 5th level is what I had him at. So his 70 speed really helped him get around. All of his Kai points that he had with a +8 strike, literally this is pretty much, his damage is almost basically a one-shot to everything. His Fairy of Blows, so on and so forth. He was very easily able to take out quite a bit of the kobolds all by himself. Corel did some heroic stuff, trying to get to Nishurta as fast as possible. He actually ran straight through multiple things of fire, because the fire spread over time. I actively played that along. I did actually want to, when I was running it with them, I had in my notes that it was going to be downpouring basically. However, I forgot that aspect when we got to it. I overread that in my notes, and that was unfortunate because I thought that was going to be real cool. Basically, the fires were still blazing. They were really hot and really strong, but they weren't really gaining any ground due to the rain, but they definitely weren't receding either. They were slowly gaining. Over time, they, like I said, they finished off all the kobolds and they were able to put out all the fires, and it was a interesting battle. It was unfortunate. There was a lot of like I said, death. They ended up burying Nishurta roughly around here somewhere, because I think that's about where he died. I don't remember exactly. And that's when, after that, Farmer Yonda asked them, because he said, hey, you guys did great. You guys helped me out before, you helped me out now, and I'd like to offer you guys a deal of coming with me to go find where these kobolds came from. We kind of have a general idea of where these kobolds came from, and I'd like for you guys to help me track them down and basically eliminate whoever's in charge of them. And if you guys do that for me, I'll pay you guys. I don't remember exactly what he said. I believe it was 20 gold for each of them. He was going to give them each 20 gold to help him kill these kobolds. And so that's what they set off to do then. So they set off to, the next morning, they set off to go kill some kobolds. I think they planned like 9 to 10-ish hours from now. So they went back to the tavern, or to the inn, actually, and slept, and then came back to here and were fully ready to go. And they set out on about a 2-day, maybe a day and a half journey to where the kobolds lived. And pretty much once they got there, let me see if I still have that top of layer. Yes, I do. So they got there, and again, a lot of this this is kind of still when I was in the messing around phase. I didn't really know what I was doing. Either way, when they got there, this is kind of what I showed them. They came in here. There used to be an old, not necessarily town, but kind of like outpost, if you want to say that here. So we can just go ahead and click off all of these. So as they approached, their line of sight got better. It was the middle of the day, and they see these 3 kobolds here around this stuff. There's a fire burning here, a dead carcass, and this is just some kind of rotten meat. They take out these 3 kobolds very easily. Actually, I skipped a step. So after they slept, as they were about to head out to the farm, they ran into a new guy named, they ran into a caravan that was selling dogs. So they were selling puppies, all kinds of dogs. I don't have the list in front of me, but it's not too big of a deal. They had they had one bloodhound, they had an Akita, they had some German Shepherd adults and German Shepherd puppies. They had a different type of shepherd dog. I don't remember, an Alaskan Shepherd, I want to say, but that doesn't sound right. Some kind of other shepherd dog. They had a greyhound. Yeah, it had a couple of choices of dogs, and they also ran into another half-orc who was looking for another job, basically. So that half-orc had led this caravan. He was their quote-unquote kind of like guardian. Basically just protect the caravan as I go through. So it was the caravan owner, and then an assistant, and then this other half-orc named Fang. And Fang decided that after he was done, he was going to, instead of taking payment from this caravan person, he was going to just buy a dog at a discounted price. So he bought a bloodhound from him, and then our player Dio Treespeak, had bought a German Shepherd puppy, and he named it Luna. Again, Dio Treespeak is the one that is very much so nature-oriented and doesn't know much about society, so he was very excited to get this puppy. If he felt it was good to him. The other one grabbed an older bloodhound. I believe it was 1.5 years, maybe 2 years old bloodhound. And like I said, Dio's puppy was, I think, 2 months old, maybe 3. Might have been 3 months. Either way, the caravan moves around constantly, going from town to town to town to town to town to town, selling dogs, breeding dogs, that kind of thing. And his next stop was Riverdale, and he just happened to get there as the adventurers were rolling out. The adventurers said, like, hey, Fang, I guess if Fang asked them, like, oh, where are you guys going, And I don't know exactly the conversation went down, but either way, Fang eventually got the memo of going and went to the farm and was able to come on the adventure here. So we're back up to a party of 4 again. So we have Corel, Magus, Dio Treespeak, and Fang. So they get here, they take out the kobolds, no problem. They do a little bit of investigating because they're like, okay, well, the kobolds were here. Obviously, their lair's got to be somewhere around here. And they kind of search the whole area, and then they eventually were able to investigate and find a lot of kobold tracks going in and out of this building here. They eventually went over to that building and find that there's a hole in the middle that leads into this black pit. That was roughly like 20 feet down. Almost all of my characters, actually I think all of them, yeah. All of our players have dark vision, so they don't pretty much need light at all. Again, though, I should mention Farmer Yonda and one of Farmer Yonda's assistants are here. All of them are debating on who to go down first. It just so happens to be that Yonda and his friend are both human, so they don't have dark vision. So they're like, well, we need to see, so let's drop a torch down there. So they drop a torch down there, and right as it's about to hit what looks to be the ground, it gets extinguished. And they're kind of like, oh, and they hear a little splash. But when they saw the torch fall, there didn't look to be water there. Basically, what they ended up finding out was there's about 1 inch or 2 of like water on the ground. More like 4 or 5, really, inch of water on the ground. So it kind of, you could pretty much just see to the bottom as the torch was falling, because it fell pretty fast, obviously, and pretty much got extinguished right when it hit. So they are debating on like who's going to go down. They're like arguing for like 10-15 minutes, and then finally the farmer's helper, I don't remember his name, it's in my notes again, sorry guys, I don't actually have a lot of them in front of me. It's not too important though. He decides he's gonna go down first, so he jumps down first and with the torch in hand, and immediately yells up, help, help, it's a trap, there's a bunch of them down here. And then pretty much from there, I don't remember exactly who went down first next, but by the time the next person got down there, the other guy was already dead. He basically jumped down, and because they waited so long after that first torch, the kobolds were ready for him, and there was like 6 of them there, and they all just speared him right as he landed. So the next person jumps down. They had almost the exact same thing happen to them, but since they had the dark vision and they were a bit more ready and they knew what was happening, they were able to take care of the couple of the kobolds as they fell down more and more. They spread out, and actually, you know what? We have another map. Again, all of these maps I built myself. I built all of these maps. I put them together, everything like that of the such. This isn't the one I want. Do I have another one? Yes, here it is. Okay. So, again, all of these maps, I put these all together myself. So here is the area that they would have landed. I did not build any of the 3D models. I just want to make sure everyone's clear on that. So they landed down here, and this is pretty much what they could see. So there was some kobolds here, and stuff like that. There was kobolds in here. Some of them were sleeping, some of them weren't. These guys, some of them were sleeping again. And it was these 3 actually who speared him. It wasn't 6, my bad. It was 3, and this guy I think threw something at him. Anyways, these kobolds that are outside, they're here sleeping, so I had to mark them some way. They're in these beds basically. So those guys drop down, they fight off a bunch of kobolds, like all of these kobolds in here, all of these kobolds in here, all of those kobolds. They're badly wounded, and they're like, okay, there's doors there. Obviously whatever's past those doors, because they couldn't see, haven't hurt us yet, so let's go ahead and go take a short rest. Back up. So they build up a thing here. I think they stacked some barrels on top to be able to get back out, and then they dropped a rope down so they could do it. I'm not sure what this was, but either way, yeah. So these might, yeah. So this was the little bit of water there. Basically, just like imagine there's like a little crevice there, like an indent in the ground here, and this was the water-ish area. It was only, like I said, it's only like 5 or 6 inches deep of water, nothing too major. And yeah, they climbed back out and took a short rest, I believe of like 2 hours, and yeah, that's actually where we're going to go ahead and pick up on the next video. I promise, guys, we are almost done. Definitely will be done in the next one, and we'll be all caught up to the adventurers. And we'll see, I hope to see you guys all on the live stream, or at least the actual first streamed video of this. So, thanks, guys, for watching. I'm going to be making a bunch more videos tomorrow. I'm going to make an Ostra video tomorrow, so if you want, check out that, please. If you're interested in that game or not. I'm also going to make 2 new videos on 2 new games that I kind of got that I'm kind of interested to show you on. So I'll see you guys later.